Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're doing this really cool S model, and it's not just an S because you can actually animate it in two ways. So I'm just going to go to object mode and show you. So the first one is making appear and disappear, the S, and then for the second one it will be just to animate it like this with this W slider. So we're just going to start off by creating a new file and deleting the camera and the lights because I always do that. I like working with just a cube. So now we're going to use this cube to do our text. So the first one we need is a string. So just type strings and it will probably appear over here. So we're going to just move it right over here to get some space. So the first thing you need is actually to write something. So in my thumbnail I wrote an S, so here's the S. So you can choose a different font. So the one that I will be using it comes with Blender. It's called Impact Regular. So this name over here, and as you can see it's the same as in my thumbnail. So now we can put this on the center and keep the top baseline over there. And now what we're going to do is put a transform node. So transform geometry and then just rotate it in the x-axis by 90 degrees, so it'll actually be like this. So the next node we need to add is just a simple one that will be really fast. It's a curve to mesh. So on the curve to mesh, what we're going to do, we did this so we could add a merge by distance, so we can make this become easier to work with. So before we start messing around with the merge by distance, we're going to just add a mesh to curve. So where is it? Here. So then we can add another node, which is going to be fill curve. So now it's going to be easier to see what we're doing. So we're just going to go to wireframe view. You don't need to turn on X-ray, it's not going to make any difference. And then now if we come here to the merge by distance, we can bring this value up, and as you can see we're just putting the resolution down. So I will just make it not touch over here because I don't want that. So I like to put the minimum possible but still keep it looking good. So I'll just maybe put like a 1 over here. No. So I think this value is good. Let's see if it did any difference. Yeah. So it's 0.01 my value. So okay, after this node we're going to add the next one, which is going to be the extrude mesh, because we want this to be a mesh. So it's this one. I'm just going to remove the wireframe view, and this is kind of thick, so I think I want to be like maybe 0.2 or something like this, maybe something less. Yeah, I think this one is good. It's still really thick, but it looks good. But then there's a problem right now, two actually. So the first one we need to uncheck individual, so it will just come one face and not that much that we saw over there. And the next thing we need to do is close this gap because we want a full mesh. So what we're going to do is add a join geometry. You probably already saw people do this. So it's just really simple. We add flip faces, and if you want I can show you why. So over here, if we look the face orientation, we can see that it's all blue, but then on the back it's red, and as you can see too, the blue is inside, and we don't want that because we want it to be facing outwards. So when we add the flip faces, we'll flip only these faces because the extrude mesh is not connected to this one, and then as you can see it's all blue. So now that this is done, we can come here, and to make this actually not two meshes, because this part isn't connected to the other one, so we're just going to put another merge by distance. So over here, and now this is a full mesh. You don't need to mess around with this value because they're exactly at the same place. So now that we got this, we finally got our S. It's not complicated, but it takes just a little bit of time to do. So we want this to be actually with nothing inside. So because what we're going to do is we're going to make the volume cube, and we are going to use this one as a boolean. So this is going to be actually a boolean in a little bit, and then the other one, the one that's going to be the volume cube, is just going to appear the part that is inside here. But this wouldn't work if we tried it out, because it would just remove the part inside and keep the outside part. So what we're going to do for that, if you didn't understand, just follow the steps. So we're going to put a boolean, boolean mesh boolean, and then we're going to plug this into mesh 2 and add a cube to the mesh 1. So as you can see right now, we're just making a hollow S inside the cube, and that's what we want. But we just need to move this cube around a little bit because it doesn't need to be that big. So if you want, you can put another transform geometry, and then over here we can just bring this up like 1 or 0.5. It's almost going to be good, so we just bring a little bit down, and this is covering already everything. So if you want, you can actually make this a little bit bigger, because we don't know how we're going to make the volume cube yet. So I think this is a good size. So now we're going, this part is done. If you want to look over here in the X-ray, you can still see that the S is here, and it's just a hollow S inside this cube now. So we're just going to organize this a little bit and start on our second geometry nodes. You can hide this for now by pressing H, and you can rename it with F2 and call it boolean. So we're just going to add a new cube, and this is going to be our volume cube. So if you don't know what that is, I'm just going to show you really fast over here. So this volume cube, you can adjust the density, and then you can remove parts of a texture, so you can make different parts of it have different density values. So again, if you didn't understand that, just follow my steps, and I think you're going to see what is going to happen. So the volume cube is going to be turned into a mesh with the volume to mesh. So now this is a mesh, and then on the density, we're going to plug a color ramp. So this is the color ramp in the start of the video. And before we add the other nodes, I just want to thank all my patrons for their support. It's been helping me a lot, and it keeps me really motivated to keep on with this channel. So thank you a lot, my patrons. And yeah, so I'm just going to continue right now by adding a noise texture and plugging into this color ramp. So this doesn't look good. It's just little bumps over there. But if we bring the color ramp up, as you can see, we're making holes. So according to this noise texture, we change it at destiny and then turn it into a mesh so it's easier to see. So now that we got this, I'm just going to change the scale over here because I like big scales, and the roughness go all the way down if you like the way that it was on the thumbnail. You keep those at the same value, and then the detail you can bring down too. So it's just a scale that you're really messing with. So if you want, you can change to 4D, so you can change where the noise texture is at. So you just move the noise texture. So I'm just going to keep like this for now and add a modifier. Another geometry node. It's going to be a boolean. So I'm just going to choose the boolean right now. And as you can see, our S is still appearing because of the boolean, but the cube is too big, the volume cube is too big for the other cube that we made. So we can just change this by changing those values over here. So as you can see, it will get a little bit laggy, but one way to change that is just put fast. This is going to make it so, I don't know why, but boolean is really intensive on your computer, so this just makes it really not intensive on your computer. It's really good, so I really recommend you put that value right there and the fast. So we are almost there. I just need to bring this one of these values up. Yep. Okay, so if we want, you can actually hide this to see the size of your volume cube. So it's just hiding the boolean. So you can keep changing this until you're happy with all the values. So it's cutting a little bit of this. And okay, I think this is good. Yeah. That you can always keep changing it to look better or make less geometry, but I really think this is enough for now. Yeah, so if we want to try it, we can actually start moving the noise texture around, and you can see I think the scale is too big, so you can change the scale like this. And as you can see, we get a lot more detail over here. And yeah, as you can see, that everything is working, and you can already animate this. One last thing before you go: if you want to add materials to this, it won't work if you add the material right over here because of the boolean. And if you add the material to the object just by setting the material, it won't work too. So I'm just going to call this material S because this is an S. And then you can come over here and add a new geometry node. Create a new one. I'll just call this mat for material, and then set the material over here. You can change the material to whatever you like, and now it's working. So if you want to learn how to make the rest of the materials, the materials are going to be on my Patreon. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video.